Are we live? 1 minute to check. 1 minute to check. 1 minute to going live. Technical check. Checking that everything is appearing where it should appear. Uh, mic check. Vocal check. Technical check. Chat forum check. What else? Shirt check. Healthy drink check. Check, check, check. Okay, the Academy is just about to go live. As you know, we are the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. We do things a little bit differently. That's why we start with a little bit of introduction music. This is one of my top tunes. Vision, one and the same. Turn it up! Louder! We will have 1 hour of powerful language coaching, ideas, thoughts, philosophy, psychology. Everything that you don't get anywhere else, you will find it right here. So stay tuned.
I am your discipline. Declare your innocence. Become your retribution. I've got some good advice. I am the better way. You need to feel forgiven. You need to be forgiven. In between the lines, you will find. Standing side by side. We are one. One and the same.
One and the same.
One and the same.
Okay. That's our introduction. Fading it down. That's Vision, one and the same. And I don't think they exist anymore, so R.I.P. Vision, but top tune from the top band. Okay, so what's in store today? We will be online for 1 hour, presenting our very special and very unusual, but very educational view on the world, how it works, what doesn't work. We're going to give you the inside information, the inside scoop on little secrets to help you improve the quality of your life, make everything bigger, better, brighter, and more beautiful. How cool is that? Yes, I know, right. So, wherever you are, I hope you're happy, I hope you're comfortable, I hope you're healthy. Got my healthy juice, got my healthy water, always drink plenty of water. Got this strange stuff, which I put in my ear earlier. Supposed to make you feel better. And I got this. Now, this could get me arrested in some countries. But where I am right now, it is perfectly legal to walk into a shop and to buy this. But in other countries, for example, the UK, you can't buy this. You can't sell it either because it's too good for you. This is colloidal silver, known in Slovakia as kolodny strebro. And what it is a natural antibiotic. It flows through the system, and the silver acts like a magnet, pulling the bacteria out of your system. And then when you visit the little boy's room, it all disappears. So really good to have a little bit every day. You can't overdose on it. You can't take too much of it. And when everyone else around you is feeling down, you can have some of this. Buy it in the chemist, over the counter. Look at this. Yeah, you can even get little kits to make it at home. And you can even use it with children. It's absolutely not dangerous. So, but remember, I'm not a doctor, so I can't advise you what medicine to take. But there you go. I use it. So that's cool. Starting with a little bit of advice. I'm online late today because I just spent several hours in the garage with my car where I was trying to repair it and then trying to sell it. And that's a whole story all by itself, basically. That's a kind of learning experience in its own right, how finance works and how money works. I was reminded that it's not actually my car because I borrowed money to buy the car, because that's what people do. You borrow money to buy a house, you borrow money to buy a car, some people borrow money for other essentials in life. And so because I borrowed money, it's not my car, so I can't sell it. I have to get permission to sell it. So it's always good to be reminded of that. And it also reminded me of the fact that I don't think that we really own anything in life? Do we really own anything? Does anything really belong to us? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because, I mean, you can't take it with you when you go. So we kind of borrow everything. We don't actually own anything at all. Everything we have in life is basically borrowed in terms of property. So that's something to think about. Oh, I also had deja vu about half an hour ago. I was writing down something, and I thought I've written this down before. I've seen this page before. You ever have deja vu? Thinking that you've been somewhere before, or knowing that you've been somewhere before, done something before. It's a bit spooky. Anyway, moving on. You don't want to know about my day. You want to know about something which is going to improve the quality of your life. You want to know about something which is going to make everything better. Well, maybe not everything. Step by step, little by little, bit by bit, we make progress. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So everything can be changed. It takes 1 second to change anything at all. But getting to that point, getting to that moment, getting to that idea is a little bit more tricky, as they say. So what's on the menu today? On the menu today is the theme of comfort versus security. Now, again, as I've explained before, this is a real-time live coaching session. This is a real example of the kind of work that happens in the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. You want lots more real examples, you can visit our website, nsa-slovakia.com, where you will get a lot of free courses that I've created to help people develop their own life. I recommend the course entitled Simple Lessons. It's a series of, I think, 27 or 28 short presentations where in each presentation I explain how if you change one little thing, you can set in effect a chain reaction like dominoes falling over that can have a great positive result for you and your choices and your ideas in life. What's he talking about? He is talking about the fact that that we can learn something from everyone. We can learn something from everyone. And so what I try to do is I try to take learning from one group of clients and share it with learning from another group of clients. So that's how we get through life. We share, and we share because we care. So moving on, getting on with things. Comfort versus security. So you're going to hear a live real-time coaching session, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be typing in the chat the key points that come up as we go through the conversation. Some of the points might be personal, some of the points might be educational, some of the points might be controversial, and you can join in as well. You can join in as well by writing in the chat your thoughts, your ideas. We could even pause it and talk a little bit about it. And I might do that because today's session is pretty long. It's a 30-minute session. So I might stop it at various points and try to review what we have covered so far. Remember, this is a kind of session where the client or the person online can affect the content. If there's something you'd like us to cover, something you'd like us to look at, then let me know. Right. Enough said. Enough said. Take a step back and we will get involved in real-time coaching. Comfort versus conformity. Are you ready? Then we will begin.
But you want something special.
Hey, you know me. Everything I do is a little bit different or special,
Okay.
I guess. So, yeah, every time I go into the shop, I try to buy something a little bit different. And so I saw the garlic and thought, yeah, garlic's healthy. And people, there's all these people only do the healthy things when they're sick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they do the sick things when they're healthy. And so I'm trying to, because I'm crazy, I'm trying to do the healthy things when I'm healthy.
Perfect.
And hopefully I will stay healthy as a result. Hopefully. So I should be like superhuman. I've had a whole piece of ginger that I cut up and ate today.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a whole clove of garlic that I've eaten.
And do you think it's enough for your body to eat this?
Well, I feel okay. I've got lots of energy. And the more that I look at food and study food and learn about food, the more I think that we don't really need it that much.
Mm.
And here's the test. The test is really difficult. The test is to write down everything that you eat and you drink for a week. That's the ultimate difficult task.
Mm.
And then at the end of the week, you look at just try it for a day. It's even difficult for one day, just to write down the things that you eat and you drink. And if you want to be more, if you want to make it more complicated, try to decide if you know where that food comes from.
Mm.
Or what is in that food, if it's mixed food, or if you're in a restaurant, where the restaurant got the food. And the end result is that we don't really think about all of these things a lot, and they're really important. And so I don't eat a lot, but I'm very conscious about what I eat, and I still feel that I eat too much. I could take 50% of what I eat, I could just take it out of my diet completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that it would have any serious negative effect.
Mm-hmm. And do you eat warm food?
I eat soup. I guess soup is warm food. And I think that the summer-winter difference is important. You know, summer cold foods, winter hot foods, because the body, it's usually more comfortable for the body to.
Yeah, but the people from South countries eat warm food during the day when it's hot.
Well, there is that. There is that fact also, which is that.
How is it?
That warm food, warm drinks cool the body. It just depends who you are and where you are, I suppose. And hopefully, kind of mentally, we're in a different place as a society from where we were 20, 30 years ago, where when I wanted a drink, my parents bought me Coca-Cola.
Mm. I understand.
And you know, that's just cocaine for the brain, right?
Mm. Mm.
Um, so
And
uh,
do you talk with them about this sometimes?
no, but I should. Like one of the many things that I should do that I don't do. And I don't do it because I think I know the answers. I think I know what they will say. I think I can hear their voices in my head,
Mm-hmm.
giving some kind of classical answer. And
Because I think that your parents are educated people, and I would be interested about their reason.
That's a great word that you used, educated, because because many people are educated and are not really that intelligent. There is a
Mm.
difference between those two things. Anybody can study something, anybody can repeat something,
Mm-hmm.
but to completely um, understand all the aspects of things, to be wise about a topic is to be wise is essentially to know that you don't know a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and so that you can't really make a lot of objective decisions. So, there are many doctors have one of the most strict and difficult forms of education that anybody has to go through. And
So many physicians have unhealthy life. They smoke a lot. They eat unhealthy food. Drink Coca-Cola too much. Drink coffee too much.
well, the
I
intelligent,
don't understand it.
intelligent people collect information from positive examples.
Mm.
And to wait for somebody else to solve your problems is always a mistake. So um, I think that just because somebody has a title or a label or a few letters before their name or after their name,
Mm.
I don't think it really matters very much. And the classic example of this is parents, mom and dad, right? There's no qualification for being mom and dad.
Mm.
There's no qualification there. There's no um, there's yeah, you can read some books and you can take some courses in nursing or communications or something, but there's no real qualification for being mom and dad, and those are the two most important
Mm.
jobs in the world. And so when we know that is difficult, then every other job is easier than being mom or dad, basically,
Mm.
than being a good mom or dad. And so uh, I think that it's something to keep in the back of our minds and
Mm-hmm.
consider as something which is important. And we know because we're adults that just because a person studies 5 years and they have a qualification as a lawyer or uh, some kind of chemical engineer or a doctor, it doesn't really mean that they're very good at their job.
Mm-hmm.
Because being good at your job means working very hard, having a lot of experience, having empathy, loving what you do, and none of those things are really connected with getting a qualification. Um, so, educated. Yeah, yeah, my parents are educated, but I'm not quite sure what that means, because you can be brilliant at brilliant at one thing and terrible at the next thing. You can be a brilliant writer, but a terrible parent.
That's true.
You can be a fantastic driver, but a terrible teacher.
Yeah, but I suppose that you are so intelligent and wise man that your parents are too. I suppose there is some connection with these things, because they educated you.
Yes, okay. They educate. Oh, that's a tough question. Yes. Yes. Who is responsible for our education? Who is responsible? What do you think? Let me just type in the last note here into the chat, which is that qualifications do not always mean that somebody is right for the job. There are other important human values. So I should write that as well. There are other important human values. Friendship, empathy, problem solving, support, listening. Is that a value? It's something like that anyway. Right. So, what do you think so far? So I've played the first third of the session based on comfort versus security. And I think we should review it. I think we should review it together and highlight some of the main points. Okay, a little note in the chat for myself, end of part 1. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chat notes and I'm going to make PDFs of the chat notes, which are key points for anything that you need to know in life and anything that comes out of the session. I'm going to put the PDFs into the closed online coaching group, the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. If you want to join the group, type in the Academy of Language Therapy into Facebook and click join the group, and you will be in. The first 100 places are free. Freedom. Nothing's free. We know that, but I thought I'd just give some people an opportunity to pick up something nice. Something nice. Right. How's it going? So we're going to have a little look back. Oh, I can't scroll back because it's not letting me see the little bar at the side. Okay, so if you missed the first part of the session and you're just joining us now, this is a good chance to review what came out of the first part, which is a discussion about comfort and security and essentially healthy habits that we need to have in life. So healthy habits will lead to hopefully a comfortable and secure existence. So here we go. People only do healthy things when they are sick and sick things when they are healthy. Isn't that true for a lot of people? Right? When you're sick, you're drinking tea and trying to relax and eating healthy food. And when you're healthy, you're, well, perhaps doing things that you shouldn't do. So it's interesting the way we are as complex creatures of the world. I want you to think about, what did you eat today? What did you eat today, and where did it come from? Was it something that was healthy for you? And I say this because I was walking to work yesterday morning. It wasn't to work. I was walking to the swimming pool yesterday morning, and I saw someone eating an ice cream. Obviously, that was his breakfast. Well, I assumed that was his breakfast. I assumed that he wasn't going home after a night out, but you never know. Anyway, he was eating an ice cream, and I was thinking, it's not exactly what your body wants or your body needs. It'd be just the same equivalent as just drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola, which, as I did write in the chat, is cocaine for the brain. There you go. Here's the challenge. The challenge is, write down everything that you eat and drink for a week. Write down everything that you eat and drink for a week. Think about your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your snacks in between. How much water do you... Talking about water. I'm losing my voice a little bit. So I'm going to have some of this natural mineral water. There we go. It's nice in Slovakia that there's so much localized mineral water available here. It's not the same in every country. People don't know, you don't know how lucky you are to have the opportunity to go to a natural water spring and to drink the water from there. Slovakia is a really unique place from that perspective. So, do you eat and drink healthily? Think about it. Be conscious of it. Do you care where your food comes from? Think about it. Be conscious of it. What was the last thing that you ate? What was the last thing that you ate? Can you remember? Do you even care? Do you even care what you put in your mouth? Oh, I went to a restaurant tonight. Okay, where did the restaurant get the food from? Right? Think about all these things. So the last thing that I ate was, I ate some nuts. Got a bag of nuts here. So I ate some nuts, and this is, what's that? He's eating a plant. It's ginger. It's ginger. You take a knife and you cut it up, and you can eat it. Just eat it raw. People make tea out of it. They put it in tea and they make tea, and then they throw away the little pieces of ginger. Don't throw them away. Eat them. Eat them. Eat them. So, there we go. Think about whether the food is cooked or raw. You know, cooked food loses a lot of its nutrient value, so you have to be really careful with that. Do your parents have a healthy lifestyle? What kind of habits do you copy from them? Do you eat the same that they eat, or do you try to improve? I think the real point in life is trying to improve things. Moving on, there was a question about education, and I pointed out that we're not educated on a lot of things that are really important. Food, for example, we're not educated about that really in school. Banking and finance and budgeting, we're not really educated on that in school. Problem solving, we're not really educated on that. So many things that we miss out. So people go through the education system, but that doesn't mean they're intelligent. Just because somebody has a qualification. I mean, to be honest, I've met a lot of idiots with pieces of paper that say they're qualified to do something, you know, and I wouldn't trust them to change a light bulb. So you have to be diligent in your observation and choices, and show discernment, which is reasoning, in deciding whether or not somebody is the right person to do something, the right person to help you, the right person to do a job, the right person to ask for advice. Just because someone is close doesn't mean that they're the right person. And there's no excuse for not having the right answers now that we have the internet. There's no excuse. There's no, none whatsoever. I always find myself saying to people, look, I am not Google. So we'll just go to Google and we'll type in the question and we'll see what different kinds of answers we can find. But I want your opinion. Yeah, my opinion might not be right. We have to live with that. So, yeah, talking about schools, anybody can repeat something, but to be wise is actually to know that you don't know a lot of things. That's what true wisdom is. And you have to teach yourself, basically. Education is what you go out and what you take and what you bring back in to yourself. Waiting for someone to give you what you want is always, almost always, a mistake. And there's so much that we don't learn. I mean, what are the most important jobs in the world? What are the most important jobs in the world? It's being mom and being dad. Those are the most important jobs in the world. No education for that. No real training for that. Very little direction. Here's a little screaming thing. Take care of this. Whoa. Panic, panic, panic. Right. So you have to work at it, basically. It's a work in progress, I think is how we can describe that. And like I said, qualifications don't always mean that somebody's the right person for the job. There are other important human values: friendship, empathy, the ability to problem solve, the ability to support people, the ability to listen. As I said yesterday, I don't think I'm a speaker, I think I'm a listener. And that's what makes the difference. And so, that's part one.
And I remember at the age of 18,
if you are sitting comfortably, then we will move on.
I remember at the age of 19 leaving university, walking out of university and thinking, this is the first day of my life because I know nothing about anything.
Mm.
So I was thinking that last week because, you know, life is a long journey and we're always learning things. And I was collecting some data about finances and financial information. And I was thinking about being old and being retired and getting a pension and preparing for that period of life, and then, you know, saving money to put children through college or university and all of these other little things. And I was thinking, my God, I never learned anything about any of that from my parents. And so there's a podcast that I listen to at the moment. I try to listen to it when I'm driving, and it's all about money and investment and the best ways to organize your finances and the best ways to not get into debt. And if you do get into debt, the best ways to pay it off, and how to make your plans and how much money you should, you know, when you make money, how much you should spend on yourself and how much you should put to one side, and how much you should begin to save, and all of these things that I've been studying over the last year that nobody ever told me. They're really, really simple stuff, like the money that you, and I imagine you probably know this already, but let's just go through it anyway because it's interesting. The money you make, from the money you get from your job, you split it down the middle, right? 50% of it you save, and 50% of it you can spend. So immediately, the money you really get from your job is half of what you're paid. Immediately. And you should only ever spend half. You should spend no more than half of what you get paid.
Is the right system?
There's flexibility.
Okay,
Okay.
there's yeah, you can go 50-50, you can go 60-40, you can play with the numbers, you can change it for 1 month because, maybe you want to buy something extra or go on holiday or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so uh, so there's no perfect system for everybody because everybody's different. But the basic principle is is that principle, and it varies depending upon what systems people use, between 25 to 50%. But the minimum amount of money that you should save is 25%. When you get your money from your job, 25% of that should go straight into an account that cannot ever be touched.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Minimum 25%.
Mm-hmm.
And the best situation is if you take 50% of the money that you're paid and you spend you use 50% for your living, your life, whatever you need, and the rest you save straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, and then you build your life based on the 50% of what you're paid.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, you will always be okay because you will always have enough money for everything that that, that, that your lifestyle affords you to do. You'll never go into debt if you do that. You'll never owe anybody any money if you do that. And what happens?
How can it works when I can't use the rest of the half?
Because the other half goes into savings for whatever you need to save for, which includes pensions in the private pensions in the future. So you're not waiting for money that you're going to get from the government or whatever. You're looking to save that money yourself, or it goes into investments, or you're putting it aside for your children's future in 20 years, uh, or it just becomes your emergency money
Mm.
if there's a major problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the problems, classic problem, somebody gets sick or ill or has an
Mm.
accident or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've always got 50% of everything ready for a problem. And um, there should always be, depending upon your life, your lifestyle, your situation, you should always have a bank account with between 3 to 5,000 euro in it that you never touch.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sits in the bank as an emergency, so that if there's some big problem, you can still pay the rent
Mm-hmm.
for 3 months or 6 months. You can, all of these little things that are so simple and so practical. It's just like whatever money you make, you're only making half of it. However much money you get is just 50%. You put a line down the middle and you take this, it goes straight into the bank, you never touch it, and you live. And what you then have is what's called a scalable income.
Mm.
And a scalable income means that you can still grow your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And as your lifestyle grows, and we can live cheaply if we want. As our lifestyle grows, so our savings grow as well. And everything stays in the same scalable balance.
Mm.
And this is much easier in more wealthier countries, Spain,
Mm-hmm.
France, Germany, Britain, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, than it is in a lot of other countries. But the basic principle is
is there that however much money you make, you're only making 50% of it, and you live on that 50%. And anybody who does that basically has no money problems for the rest of their life. And you start it when you start it when you're 20, whatever job you have, doesn't matter, part-time job, whatever. You're always putting 50% to one side. And so I was listening to this system and listening to people talk about this, and it's like, my God, I'm 40, right? And I never looked at it like this. And it's so simple, but it's absolutely the right way to approach the situation. And it's not easy, but it's just the right way. You know, when you hear the right thing, you know that it's right. And this is the way to approach money and use money in a positive sense. This way you're using money to protect you and support you, rather than spending it on things that people don't need. And there's a word for this, frugal. Frugal is the word. And when you are frugal, you are careful with your money. You don't buy the extra thing that you don't need. Like, so I'm talking to myself, right? Because I'm just thinking about all the stuff that I buy that I don't actually really need. And if I think about myself here in my office, I could take 50% of this and live without it. My life might not be so comfortable, but I could still live without it. So, and I estimate in my life, looking at my life and how much I spend and being conscious about it, I could probably spend, I think anybody can do this. They can spend half of what they're spending now and their life does not change in any way.
Yeah, but we want to have a comfortable life, and we earn money for this, for comfortable life.
Yes, that is true. We earn money so that we can have a comfortable life. And so we get into the principles of comfort and security. I mean, what is more important? If you have to choose between comfort and security, what is it that you choose? What is it that you choose? Think about it. Think about it. So, let's take a quick breather and let's take this opportunity to review the first half. Let's take a quick breather. Let's take an opportunity to review the first half, review the first section. Are you bearing with me? Are you sticking with me? Are you following the information? It's all key. It's all important. It's all essential. It's all useful. It's all practical. Really. Trust me. Trust me. So, where to begin? Let's review the second part of this. Life begins when you realize that you know very little about everything. And so it begins when you're very young, and it begins again when you become a parent. And there's probably a third stage as well. So when you become a grandparent, that would be, I suppose. So that's something to consider. Are you thinking about the future? Are you thinking not just about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Are you thinking about that? Because you should be. Are you saving money? Are you saving money for the kids' education? Are you saving money for a house in the future? Are you saving money for your pension? I think I'm talking to myself there.
recommend a podcast, Dave Ramsey, Financial Freedom, or FPU, Financial Peace University, where he explains to people how to save money. There's something called the envelope method for budgeting in personal homes, the envelope method. I recommend it. We don't have time to get in it today because time is everything we have and the enemy at the same time. So, but check it out. Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University, the envelope method. Save 50, spend 50. The money that you get for your work is really only half of what you get. That means if you get, I don't know, 100 euro for something, 100 euro for your work for the day or for whatever you do, you get 100 euro. It's not really 100, it's only 50. Because you can only work with half of what you get. The other half has to be put aside. It has to be saved for a rainy day. It has to go into the bank or the piggy bank, or you can't touch it, basically. Oh, can't touch it. Something like that. So your life is basically half of what you are paid. So whatever you pay, don't spend any more than 50% of that. And I can't really emphasize that enough. It's really, really, really important to do that. A little bit of advice I've thrown in. It wasn't actually in the coaching session, but kill the small bills first. If you've got a series of bills that you need to pay, or credit cards you need to pay off the small ones first, and then tackle the bigger problems. I mean, still be aware of the bigger problems, but kill the small bills first. Save a minimum of 25%. That's another rule you can go. I suggested 50, but a minimum of 25. That's the best direction to head in, I think. And then you can build. You can increase 25 to 30, 30 to 40, and so on. And you will never go into debt if you work with that kind of system. So you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared for the problems you might face. And in general, basic school education does not help us with that in any sense, in any way. Face the problem now, and you'll be able to relax more in the future. Always have a bank account with some kind of reserve in it. I know a lot of people set up these bank accounts where when they put money into the account, automatically 5% goes through their system into another account where it becomes a special savings. And it's very useful to do that as well. Create a scalable income, which means creating a scalable life. And as your income grows, so your life can grow. If you're always working not with how much you get paid, but with the percentage that you're working with from how much you get paid, that'll make a giant difference. A massive, humongous, I don't like that word very much, but it sort of expresses an epic, it'll make an epic difference. There you go, epic, that's a great word. Reminder, if you find this video, right click on it on Facebook, copy and paste the URL, share it. Thank you very much. The answers are simple. There you go, just like that. The answers are simple. It's asking the right questions that is more complicated. Key habit, be frugal. Don't buy extras. Don't buy what you don't need. Don't buy what you don't need. It's just a waste. You ever walk into people's houses and it's just full of rubbish. It's full of shelves with stupid things on it that nobody can ever use, and people bought stuff when they don't even really know why they bought it. I mean, it's crazy. It's a sign, and it's not a good sign, basically. The final thought in part 2: could you live without 50% of your present expenses? Could you do it? Could you cut out 50%? And that is the end of part 2. That's a little note to myself. Right. We've got
We've got a few more minutes
But
to
the
go.
role of money,
We're going to play
I
the third
understand
part
that
of the
perspective,
coaching.
but there's another
I'm going to chill
perspective,
out
and
in the
that is
background.
the
If you've got
role of
any
money
questions,
is
write
not
them
to
in the
make
chat.
things
Stay in
comfortable, but to
touch. Keep in
provide security.
contact. Let's
Mhm.
move.
And security and comfort
Listen.
are two different
And
things.
take the next step.
It's nice to have comfort, but it's nicer to have security.
Mhm.
So,
Security, like ochrana.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because basically, comfort has a positive and a negative side to it,
Mhm.
but security only has a positive side to it.
Mhm.
So, so it's always a better. I think it's always a better investment to invest in security rather than to invest in comfort,
Mhm.
because comfort is leading to luxury where security is leading to safety, for
Mhm.
example.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so just thinking about that a second. That makes sense? That makes sense, right? That makes sense. So what to think about
It
it?
makes sense, but what can I want to live for fun and for to have a comfort and nice life with everything what I want.
Because what you want is not as important as what you need. Because
Uh,
want, sorry to point that out, because wants are emotional impulses and needs are much more fundamental
mm,
elements of, the need is far more serious than the want.
mhm,
I can say children always want things, but they don't really need them. Like my kids always want ice cream, right? But they don't really need ice cream. Sometimes I want ice cream, and I know 100% that even though I want ice cream, I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. So,
But when they have ice cream, their day is more is nicer, is better, and this is the point to have a nice life every day with ice cream, with perfumes, with everything what we want.
yes, well, it's nice to be happy, but ice creams and perfume are luxuries, and they're absolutely not necessary to be happy. I mean, you can not have perfume and be extremely happy. You can not have ice cream and be
Mm.
extremely happy. And you can have ice cream and perfume and be very unhappy. So there's no, perfect correlation between having what you want and
Mm.
being happy as a result. And what want leads to, whatever you have more of, leads to wanting more of that thing. So if you
Mhm.
have a want, changing want from a verb into a noun, if you have a want for something, then in the future you will have a want for more of
That's true.
that thing. And there's a psychological state in most people which means we're never satisfied.
Mhm. I know.
We well, it doesn't have to be negative things. It can be Lego, right? Here's just an example that comes into my head. It doesn't matter how much Lego you have.
Mm.
It's never enough, and you always want to buy some new piece or some little car or some boat or something,
Mhm.
so that you can build more. So it doesn't have to be a negative thing, but it's definitely a human desire to always have or to want more of
Mm.
things that we connect with happiness. And then, we instantly discover that our happiness is not really connected to that thing which is new.
Mm.
We can get I don't know, a new book or a new computer game or a new bicycle or whatever, but
Mm.
that will probably never be enough for most people.
Mm-hmm.
And then getting to the higher level of thinking is understanding that there are many things that we could have, but there are none of these things that we need. And that's the way that the world is designed.
Mm.
You live in Prague, and I'm sure Prague is full of restaurants and bars.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, probably more restaurants and more bars than most people need. And that's just the way that society is set up. There's nothing really wrong with that. That's commercial culture. People are free to start any kind of business that they want to start. And so there's this great quest for happiness externally, but it doesn't really come in that way externally. It's more of an inner peace that brings happiness than an external activity or getting possessions. And that's why when you have the money as security, it's a peace. It's peace for you because you know it's there if you need it, and maybe it won't be you that needs it. Maybe it'll be somebody in your family. Maybe it'll be a friend who needs it. Maybe it'll be a colleague who needs it. Maybe some situation in life will occur which will lead you to give the money to some charity or something. Who knows? Maybe you'll save so much money that you have too much and you don't know what to do with it, so that you will give some of it away. And then that would be setting a positive example in that sense. So it's very important to focus on using money as security rather than using everything you have in terms of money to try to build, because inevitably in life life's not a straight road. We don't always step up from step to step. Sometimes we go back down a little bit, and money is the comfort in difficult times. When you lose your job and you know that in the bank you've got 3 months money for rent and food, then you're not worried. You're not going to have a really hard time at the beginning. You're not going to turn to alcohol or drugs or whatever, because you've got that security and that time to think. And it's so, so, so important to have that security and to have that time to think. Don't you think? Don't you think? Don't you think that's the right way? Don't you think that should be taught in schools? Don't you think that that is the answer to some of the problems, the answer to some of the questions, the answer to some of the issues? Don't you think? Do you ever think? Okay, so let's review. Let's review the final part today. Thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you very much for paying attention. Thank you very much for sharing and caring. What is the role of money? What is the role of money? Is it so you can buy a new shirt? Do you like my new shirt? Right. You probably don't. I don't care. I like it. Right. What is the role of money? The role of money is to provide security, not comfort. To provide security, not comfort. We have the wrong focus. If you're looking for a comfortable lifestyle, then that's not going to lead to happiness. And we will explore this through the notes. So bear with me. Security is key. Security over comfort. Comfort is nice, but security is better. Said simply. There you go. And comfort has two sides. Yes, it's nice to be comfortable, but if you get into the etymology of the word comfort, fort. What was a fort? A fort, a building that was a garrison or a home for soldiers. Fort. Think about what famous forts do we know? Fort Knox. Isn't that where the gold is supposed to be held? I don't know. Fort Knox, Fort Lauderdale. And so these were places where people could be safe within the walls, but they were also elements of danger as well. If there was a fort in the region, it meant there were soldiers there, and soldiers were always involved in conflicts of some kind. So that's something to think about. Comfort leads. Where is it going? Where is it leading? What's the road? Comfort leads to luxury. Security leads to safety. That's the difference. What you want is not as important as what you need. And I say this almost every day. What you want is not as important as what you need. There are levels. And I think there are 4 levels. I think there's what you have to do, what are the levels? What you have to do, what you need to do, what you want to do, and what you like. I think those, you can play with it a little bit, but that makes some kind of sense. What you have to do, these are external pressures on your life, where you don't really have choices. What you need to do, that's essential for yourself. What you want to do, those are emotional impulses, and then likes. Very often what you like comes last because the pressures of the other elements are stronger. Not that like is unimportant. Not that like is unimportant. So think about it. Codify it for yourself. Wants or surface emotions, basically needs are essential foundations. Wants or surface emotions, needs are essential foundations. What do you need? What do you really need? For example, ice cream is not a need. Ice cream is a luxury. It is not an essential part of happiness. Because we always want more. We're never satisfied as human beings. We always want more. So we have to focus on the need in order to find happiness and success. Happiness is truly not connected to objects around us. It comes from within. It comes from within. It's innate, and the role of the teacher, the tutor, and the mentor is actually to bring these natural talents, these innate abilities, these understandings out of the person, and balance what you could have with what you need in your life. Balance what you could have with what you need. Think about what you really need. Forget about what you could have. Objects of external happiness never bring inner peace. It's the want more principle. We always find ourselves wanting more. But when we use money as true security, then it brings real peace for us. Remember, life is not a straight road. It's more of a staircase, a couple of steps up, a couple of steps down. That's the way it works. So try to
use money, save money, have it there for comfort in difficult times. That's when comfort is important, in difficult times. And wow, we've done it. We've got through to the end. Thank you very much for bearing with me and staying with me. I hope you found this useful. I hope you found this very practical. There's so much that you can get out of this. There are at least 20 or 30 principles from this session that if you go back to the beginning and you make notes and you write them down, or you copy the chat or whatever, you apply them in your life, these little things will make big differences over time. I absolutely guarantee it. If you want to support the work that we do, it's the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. We're on YouTube, 750 free educational videos online. Visit our home site. We've got some extra special stuff on there, a couple of books as well that you can download. And share and spread the message out. Remember, this is a coaching session for you. So if there's a subject that you like, if there's something that you want to ask, that you would like to talk about, or even call in and discuss, we can do that. Absolutely not a problem. If you've got any questions, why not take a free consultation with the school? Why not take a free consultation? It has been an absolute pleasure to present this information to you. And as I said, if you're only joining in for the second half, go right back to the beginning, because there's so much stuff here, which is cool. Thanks again, wherever you are. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and I will be back in contact and back in touch with you soon. Link up to us on Facebook, join the closed coaching group, and that's it. Go out there, make a difference. As usual, we end as we begin with a little bit of vision. Shut up!